So this is going to be based on the question that you asked, and I'm going to share this corporately that we can release. We've been asked about sharing Winnie the Pooh, of how we ended up in where we are, and the journey of how it started for us, and why. And so, because everything is everything, I need to break it down so we can see it. Like it, what we saw when we first encountered, this is all based off Winnie the Pooh. But yet, the Winnie the Pooh narrative is connected to everything. It simply is a perspective. And so, before I can really share the process of Winnie the Pooh and just the innocence of what that story tells, because everything is connected. You were asking about the movie Wizard of Oz. It's connected. Every show we see is still connected. It's just, they're all telling the same story of all. It's just different positions or fractals of all, but yet it because of who we are in the greater picture, and there's a resolve there of intention, and so that intention always tells the same story regardless where we are. It's always telling a level of the story, or a degree, or a parable of the story, or a riddle of it. Something is hidden, what needs to be released. So before I can go into Winnie the Pooh first, and Carrie's going to assist me in the narration of that so we can tell the story correctly, I want to shed light onto really what's going on. And so I had a dream, and I had a dream a while ago about being in a room with some mathematicians. And I was a little intimidated because we were told to go up to the whiteboard and give our definition of our maximum equation that would equate to our completion, right? And so the two went before me, and I was intimidated by their whole equation on the board, because math isn't really, mathematics in that level of degrees and symbols that is still code really isn't my forte. But as I went up there in my dream, the spirit just said erase the whole board, right? And as soon as I did, the spirit just said, now turn around and say, I'm going to leave this on here, but pretend the whole board is empty. And the spirit just said, now I say, you're completed. So I turned around and says, I'm done, right? That's full potential. There's nothing I need to touch to really present my Father, the Creator, all source, is full potential. Only when I write the equation do I limit Him through my perspective of how I render my equation. Make sense? So I can only give my rendering. I share my rendering of my mathematical equation that equates as my comprehension of how I see my Father. And there's a process right there. So we give a mathematical equation of sums and totals that balance out to resolve. And there's a reason I'm saying this to set this up.
Okay.
So the Spirit then said, if you need to put something on the board, put a dot. And that was it. So now we have perspective of Father. And this is what I need to explain, is this one dot. Because this is everything right here, but this is perspective. If I'm speaking from a vantage point or perspective, and I'm very far away from this, looking at a telescope, right? This dot is based on my perspective of me being far away. But as I journey, because this is all about becoming through the journey, okay? So my journey is to journey into the dot, and as I get closer, of course, that dot is exponentially going to grow based on my perspective. So this whiteboard is simply as a visualization of trying to extrapolate out my resolve. With this, we at some point, this whiteboard is going to turn blue,
Okay.
or black, or whatever. It's just a color, right? Just a color.
Yeah.
I'm talking about whatever the dot is. If this is all dot, then we're going to be Father, because this is the hidden.
So as you're entering into your becoming and going through your journey, that's going to expand.
That's going to expand, because that now you've entered into what was seen from a distance, now my perspective has changed as I've entered in. So at some point, we're just going to be into the blue,
Okay.
right? Father, behind the veil, per se. And as soon as we do, we enter back into the white room. Because now you're behind the veil and you're going like, wow, I have now, because we started out with the full potential of a cleared whiteboard. But we have to know what the whiteboard is through perspective. And we've equated that as a mother and father component, right? As Yod He Vav He.
Okay.
And we've already shared with you and other people that Yod He Vav He is really a mother,
Right.
father. This is basics for us, for you too. Okay, but so now we've entered into this dot, so now we're behind the veil in the perspective of what is hidden. And we can equate this, because mother and father equate to what? Mother, because this would be the power, means, and direction, right? Or the hand that shows revelation.
Mm-hmm.
That's mother. She shows you the revelation so you can become the sovereign stand, or in humility. She shows you the vision is, and because this equates to humility and meekness. Mother, humility, teaching you, rendering you down. So you, the fuller measure of humility is meekness, right? So mother shows you the vision of the revelation to produce the intention, sovereignty, as father's revelation. And this could, if mother is light, then father would be dark. If mother is day, right? Because this is our day wrestle, then father would be night, right? Mm-hmm. There's many things I can put on here without going too far into this that would equate out. If mother, this revelation is revealed, I'm going into probably your light here, which I wasn't going to draw. I'll put it over here.
You're probably still good there.
Okay. Right? Father, mother. Let's just keep it at dark, light.
Okay.
Now this connects to the stones on the ephods on the priest's shoulders, right? Because this would be the black stone,
Okay.
and this would be the white stone.
Okay. It's just the Urim and Thummim.
Urim and the Thummim, right? Because they are on the shoulders governing the 12, the completion of 12, which would be the representative of Israel. But we still need to comprehend really what's going on, because this still equates as sorry, remove that. This still equates to a summational total of a tree. Because this is the tree in the garden, and we know that there's, and this is what we're going to break down here, is evil and good. Because Winnie the Pooh, the story is a narrative of evil and good. But we have to know really what's transpiring in this. Why can't we see Father know the tree? Because it says that this is the tree of good and evil, right? But something transpired there where they had to go on a journey. This is the journey of becoming, so they would know evil. But what is evil? So we're not going to get to that right now, because I wanted to start, we will. But I wanted to shed light on the totality of this mathematical equation that is really all. Because everything is all, okay? So we're going to go into the deep, and by nature, it's atomic, because that's even Hebrew, atom. So we have one, tav, mem. So becoming one to the covenant of life, love, and light, you become sealed, right? Above, this would be Father's water. So that's really atomic.
Adon.
Right. And it also is the twins. So what we're trying to do is to produce a measure of deep, right? So we're going to comprehend what this is. Because that's the deep. Right. Right. And it's kind of a riddle. And I would ask a question too, that, you know, if this is completion as a Merkaba, do you think maybe that it could be in steps? I only drew it a different way. Now I have two heads.
Oh, that's good.
So now what I have is I have two pillars, and now I have kind of the tree of life. Right? All I did is I shifted it a degree, because one was completion, and I'm trying, what the whole base of the Winnie Pooh story is when I share this, is turn, to become. But if this is completion, then do you think there's steps to becoming? This shows a pillar and a pillar,
Okay.
a head and a head, and it almost has an owl quality to it. Knowing the dark and the light, but they're separated. There is Mother's mountain, but you have to go to the valley, and then up to know Father. Same language of inclination that produces up to become, down to manifest through the activation, and then back up. But this is the best. This is where you're able to see Father correctly. I need to go over there to become Father. So this allows you to shed light on the dark. Okay? So just a perspective and what if. Not telling, just sharing. But I did want to share about this right here, Yod He. Vav He, which is a template of becoming through the journey of its measure, through what it's saying. Now, if I wrote this in Paleo Hebrew, right, we have Yod He, Vav He. Now, this is really important to see this. So, we have the hand of power, the Yod, the He, the Vav, and the He. And we have an expression going on here that in the Paleo especially, because now we have Yod, which is the hand, or the work in the deed that would reveal the revelation, but we've already determined that this is Mother's side, right? Because there's components to becoming, because Mother strips you bare, renders things clear, so you're able to remove what needs to be removed and bring in what needs to be brought in, so you become the measure of intention.
Right.
And that would be Father. So this would be width, and this would be height. But it's still interesting, the Vav, right, the Yod, this, all of Hebrew characteristics and their letters are shorthand. What is shorthand before longhand? So it's a code, right? So Mother's shorthand in the earth, because everything to do with Mother is in the earth, because it's producing, so through the below, she is what? She's getting us ready for the above. Right?
Mother is below.
Mother below, Father
Which would be
above.
Yod He.
Yod He, right. And it's the same as the Merkaba. So we're mainly focused on, so Mother would be
Father's above.
there, there. And then those are joined.
Okay.
And this is going to answer a question for a lot of people that because even in this component, well, because in this component right here, a lot of people say, I don't know Father's language, but when Mother is morphing. But if we join these two right here, we see that Mother and Father overlap at a certain point in the journey, because everything's about the journey, right? Mm-hmm. So, and we know the right hand, so we're just going up the right hand, and we know that at some point, right, this Mother has crossed over to Father, because that's his base. So Mother's journey has brought you into the base of Father, that has then gone up to be the completed Mother, is really moving into the Father. And so we have no beginning and no end, yet there's a beginning and an end to this journey, right? Because this gap right here, from that line where mother overlaps father, when they come and down to compress one another, we have, I'm learning mother, and all of a sudden father, this side over here, the deep, is starting to reveal itself by the journey, because they're compressed as one, right? Because everything is everything is connected. Mother and father are not separated, other than they are. Only for a means to express to us how to become through the journey.
I see.
We are mother and father. Now, I'm not saying that there's all father outside, but the component of the fractal within is a holograph, and therefore it's completed. So we are a fractal holograph of completion. So we have an overlap there where at some point mother's revelation will turn into father's revelation. But let's talk about this shorthand really quick, because this is really important. What is shorthand? So we have a code. Mother is a code, a shorthand. So now you probably didn't grow up with much shorthand comprehension, but shorthand is what they use in the courts, and it's stenography. Okay, well, let's define what it is to be a stenographer. And I'll write this down, read right from a definition. Stenographer is a Greek word, and it means covered or protected, and it means concealed writings. So now we have shorthand within the earth, because this is the journey in the earth.
Okay.
Mother is hidden and concealed. Now father is completely out of sight. He's behind the veil. He is in the holy of holies, right?
Okay.
He is completely removed from this. Why? Because you'll never comprehend the deep without comprehending the shallow. Mother is teaching us how to render clear so we would see father correctly, right? In the vantage point of the two mountainscapes, the two heads. So in the earth is our journey to excavate out through forensic works to see, and then as soon as we are calibrated in frequency, because this, by the way, is we are the song of completion. We're going to resonate as the song of completion through integration's work of becoming the intention.
Tuning ourselves to the frequency.
And then these two then are married again, right? As
Marrying the frequency.
one. You are now the frequency. This is the song.
Coming into harmony.
You're coming into harmony, and you're tuning your own fork.
Can I add something to that?
Sure.
The word memnu,
Mhm.
to be a part of, it means to be playing, like be a part of a chord.
Right.
As a
stringed instrument, absolutely.
And that literally is also the same word for manna.
Right. So, yes, and that ties into the honey of Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, so
Yeah, absolutely.
The living water teachings that are meant to raise up our flesh is to produce what you just showed right there,
Right. Absolutely.
as a stringed instrument that plays a chord.
So now we're going to go into, thank you. And because this is all about Winnie the Pooh and the honey trees, we're going to break this down, how we got this revelation through the gentleness of innocence, because we were led on an innocent journey right here. Through this shorthand, we had to extrapolate out the height and depth through the width and breadth. Okay? It's important. So stenography is a Greek word, and it means to cover. But now in the Hebrew, we got to bring in some covering language, right? And it's interesting that we have this word, and I haven't put the Strong's down here. So this is Strong's 3680, and it's, put it over here because I got some room. It's Kof, Samek, Hey. Now I'm not going to go into a teaching here, but I'm going to move through this. I'm only saying that was a grasp that, the Samek, that which supports you, because this is actually the tree supported, and it's also enter into the pen. It'll pierce you in and pierce you out. This is mother. By grasping this, which was protected and sealed and hidden, you will comprehend the revelation. but it's covered. This word means to be covered. So the revelation is sealed unless you can grasp it to enter in. This means to prop up the tree. It will prop you up so you can see the revelation. Because remember, everything that we're talking about still is about the tree in the garden. The poo and the honey tree. So we're talking about, we're taking it right back to the very Genesis 1:1 batter sheet. The genesis of origin. Choose what you want to do. So it's interesting that this word morse, though, it's actually, now we have a sheen involved in this. So how do you do it? By grasping the consuming fire, you're going to find the revelation. But this is also twin front teeth, right? Which we've already said that even if we were to morph this, two front teeth. Mother and father, by going through the consuming fire, by grasping these two, you can turn your nature
That's exactly what the paleo would be too.
to become one, right? From the twins come the one. And I'm actually explaining even our logo of 121, the stand, and we'll get into that later on. But this is, because all is all, we need to distill it in drips and drops to comprehend it correctly so we know what all is, because this is going behind the veil into the dark. So this word, this one right here, means to be satiated or gorged with food. And it also means to be covered with flesh. Right? Very interesting.
Wow.
So,
That's when the ego came in.
absolutely.
Hence the sheen.
Hence the sheen.
Wow.
Yes.
I
So,
didn't know that. I haven't seen that word.
Yeah.
Wow.
so again, I'm not going to go into a full, this is, but Carrie can go into this through extrapolation, because this goes, because it is what it is, we need to express it in the shorthand and through stenography before we comprehend this. And so we can't go into this because we're bypassing the step of mother, right? So I need to play mother right now, but I've been behind the veil to see father in the mathematical equation of intention. But now I got to hop back over here, and no belittling, it just is, because we all are. So this is to be covered in flesh. You're concealed as this until fully revealed as one. Okay?
That's hence the dimming process.
Hence the dimming process. Okay, now that's one covering, but now we got to move into another one, because I have to fully do service to really what's going on. Now we have another one, and it's going to be het, pay, hey. And this means to cover and to overlay. And then this goes into het, pay, olive. And that goes into to do secretly. So now we have in secret, right? And so now you can start to see there's actually even a morphing here where you can start to see the secrecy of what is hidden and why it's hidden. Okay? So now we have these are all connected. This is a 2644. And that one is 2645. And this means to veil. So now, something is hidden behind the veil.
Yeah, it's head, pay.
And you have to enter the holies, which means really Kodesh, to be set apart before you enter the Holy Holies. Set apart, set apart. Something's been veiled, and it's done through separation. What's separated? The upper and the lower lips. Teaches you, this is above and below, right here. It's in here and here, as well as here, because out of the heart the man speaks. My mother has taught me to know the above, so when I speak forth, I have two edges. What are my two edges? Mother and father are my two edges.
So that's the two-edged sword.
That's the two-edged sword. It's knowing, yes, it's knowing how to separate, het, out, through the mouth, so you would know the way of one.
Which was veiled to us.
This, which is veiled to us because you're in the flesh,
Right.
and you're going to have to journey, finding through mother,
Right.
to find father, so you know what evil is through good. Now this is getting it broken down completely, but we're still focused on Winnie the Pooh here because I need to just bring this simple, this part.
So the teeth is chewing the meat.
The teeth, absolutely. The teeth is consuming, breaking down the food that is necessary, because this is how you become satiated right through gorging yourself. That you're actually feeding the flesh, but it's an oxymoron because really through the feeding of this light, you're diminishing the flesh.
Right.
Because it produces humility. Father is meekness. The fuller measure is meekness. Humility is learning how to become meek, which is power and control. You are now one that has the full potential of power, everything that is nothing. That's 0 point because it's by its own definition. Father is 0 point through the equation of 0 point. You are now equated as the measure of intention. Meekness, power and control. You're not going to roundly take your light ship and go wobble off into space because you cannot wobble at light speed. You're going to have to know how to find, resolve.
I think
So-
it's interesting that the being satiated, the het is the covenant of life, right? Separating what is and what isn't through what comes from the mouth that is bringing the revelation.
Absolutely. So now we have another word here. Let's do this one. So this is really interesting because this morphs down to, keeping it pretty simple still, het, pay, pay. So now the veil morphs to, this word means, and there's only one occurrence, and it's in Deuteronomy 33:12, to enclose, to cover in protection. It's the reason why I'm going to say this. So now we have those that have separated out to find the mouth, lower lip, to now speak in the earth as the top lip. So this is a completed mouth that knows how to separate what is and what is not.
From top to bottom.
From top to bottom, from within, from without, from above, from above to below, from side to side, mother, father, knowing the way of one, because this would not be given. And what's really interesting, it says compare this to this word right here, and it simply is a yod, a het, and a pei. And it means, really interesting, barefoot. So the power means in direction of the work in the hand of the deed that shows you how to separate so you may speak in the earth, right? It's just the power, it's the vision. The vision, you're barefoot. How do you get sandaled? Your tunic and sandal is now, this is all covering. This all means covering, right? Because we're talking about stenography. We're still talking about this right here. Mother is a stenographer. Everything, all this right here is shorthand. And it wants to express itself through the revelation, right? Through the revelation of who mother and father, because revelation is expansion, revealing itself through the journey of becoming it. Seeing as it or at it. Am I looking at it or am I it, right? Going to a point. So interesting, right? So that right there is barefoot. The vision is simply you're barefoot until someone slips a sandal under your foot. Now you're covered. You're learning. Now you're covered, and then mother is really your sandal, right, under your foot. Father's your tunic. This is the garment that you're building. Tunic, or sandal and tunic. Tunic and sandal. You don't,
That's why they were sent out with nothing.
nothing. Well, they did.
Because they were sent out with everything.
They were sent out with, exactly.
They were sent out with the all.
They were sent out with the all.
So that's why they didn't need anything.
They didn't need anything. Why would they? They were co-creators in a matrix that they had power over, and they could call forth and usher and manifest. Why? Through the revelation of shorthand to longhand, height and depth, from width and breadth.
So they were sent out on a walk in order to test that which they had learned so that they knew that it was
Absolutely.
as is. You are
Absolutely.
the creator. You manifest everything that you need. That's amazing.
It's amazing. It is. It's that. So now we're still talking about stenography and covering. Now let's morph into a show. This is really cool here. Now, so we're still talking about covering. We're still talking about becoming. We're still talking about the tree. Everything is still connected because all is all. I'll never stop saying that. All is all. Because we can't forget that we're entering into, oopsie. At least I didn't say oopsie daisy. My wife was, I'm Canadian, she always gives me,
I think it's
you know
cute.
that, Jess.
I
So
think it's cute.
remember, we're still entering into the dot, right?
Right.
So, and the dot is equivalent as all, which would be the tree of life still, right? We're still talking about the tree, but we're becoming the tree. So, don't want to lose sight of all this. And we're still talking about the stenographer. And this is the black and the white. This is the ephod. This is the Urim and the Thurim. The twin stones. Let's keep that up there. I like that. The white and the black. We're journeying, right? From the east to the west, to the north to the south. Here we go. We're going on a journey. So we're watching this show as a family. And it's this journey of this girl. It's called The Black Material.
His Dark Material.
His Dark Material.
It's based on the Golden Compass movie. It's a TV show.
Off to the Golden Compass. Yeah. Okay, good. There's your Golden Compass. Okay. What is the destination?
The north.
The north, but it'd be the Vav, right?
Oh yeah, they go to the Vav. Yep, got it.
Right. So there's your compass. There's your golden yod.
Which is the golden rule.
This is the golden rule.
Yeah.
The power, means, and the direction of the work and the deed of Mother will establish you as a sovereign being standing in the revelation of Father completed as one. Turn that now.
Yeah, and the Urim Thurim is lights and perfection.
There you go. So again, we can go. We could take this width and breadth is as much width as much. We can circumnavigate the world with this, because that's what we're here to do. This is the journey of an archer that would shoot his arrow, right? He's going to actually go this way. So he's going to shoot his arrow perfectly straight. Bang, right in his own back. That's how much we can do in extrapolating out. It doesn't make sense to shoot straight, but on the earth, perfectly straight circumnavigates. This is the art of mastery of big and small. So, if Mother teaches humility, because this is all worship, by the way. Someone asked a really good question on we talked to them live, don't mention names, but he said, knowing this, has your worship changed? And I said, of course, like everything in progression of becoming directly, right, affects me and changes me from where I am in my current moment to what I'm becoming. And so if Mother is humility, and I'm not speaking conjecture really, I'm speaking from what, I'm sharing from what I know, what I'm seeing, and this is what it is. So this is, because what we're sharing is all worship, and we'll extrapolate out this too, to show you it is worship. Worship is becoming. The work, the power, means, and direction of Mother's revelation produces this. The intention is worship. That's what worship truly is. So if Mother is humility and Father is meekness, then for worship for me, then I humbly bow to that which I do not know. Right? If Mother's producing a measure of intention, then my worship is, right, in humility, I humbly bow to that which I do not know in worship. I don't know, until I know the darkness or the light shedding light on the Father, that which I do not know, I surrender to. I bow myself to it in the stance of worship, in reverence of what is yet to become. That's my worship. This is worship. We're worshiping right now. And it's Shabbat too, it's perfect. So, I humbly bow to that which I do not know. Till Father presents himself fully to me, I'm always in the stance of worship until meekness is fully manifested in the earth, in the full intention of why we are here. I worship. Okay. So we have this girl in this show, and tell me what it's called again, what we're watching?
It's Dark Material.
I don't really, but I see everything specifically in spirit because of how I'm geared, but I have to tether it to word. So now we have this girl. And I can say it this way, too. Let's do this. That Father is the black, revealed in the white. Mother is the white, concealing the black. Father is the black, revealed in the white. Mother is the white, concealing the black. Make sense? So what did I just say, really?
Yeah, well, that was the image that I got, was the complete balance of homeostasis with the yin and the yang. Yep.
Father is the black, revealed in the white. Mother is the white, concealing the black.
So
How do you...
it's Hillel and Lila.
It's night and day, it's day and night. Absolutely it is. It's the revealing of the morning that you wrestle through. We're wrestling through that which we do not know. But we called it, and it's called evil, but we need to define what evil is, because it really is just the affliction of the wrestle that produces the light that we can see that which we didn't know that we called evil. That's the only reason we got kicked out of the garden, the tree. Because we didn't comprehend who? Father. It's not that he's evil. Evil is the wrong definition. All it means is the affliction. You don't comprehend what I am. I am, this is the judgment, right? That has to be comprehended first through mercy. If you stay in judgment, then you're going to be judged. But if you journey correctly through Mother, she teaches you humility, she teaches you mercy. Now you comprehend judgment. Welcome back to the tree, son. I fill you up by emptying you out. I make you full in the rendering clear of what revelation is. Now come back to the garden, because you are the garden, Jesse. We are the garden. And we sing the song of life through the revelation. So let's go into this real quick. There's a lot of stuff, and we're only going into shallower waters right now until we release, because we're going to bring up Winnie the Pooh, then we're going to shed light on all of this. So have this girl, childlike faith, and she can read this thing called
The Golden Compass?
the Golden Compass, which they called it the Othello, the something, the meter,
I don't remember.
the alethiometer, the lithiometer,
I think so.
lithiometer. Okay,
Something like that.
so she has this faith that she has this thing, and what do they have? That they have a compass. It's really the word for the golden compass, the yod. And we're still talking about the shorthand of Mother, which is really stenographer of shorthand. So now they have all these books that says that you need, and where are they? They're in the church setting, that all these books are here, and to read this compass,
In Oxford.
you need to have all this code.
Right.
But yet she can read it in the innocence of her own interpretation.
Through emptying herself.
Through emptying herself,
It's revealed.
she's able to reveal the revelation.
Yeah.
She's learning to see Father through the innocence and purity.
Right, because Father, that's yada. That's knowing intimately
Absolutely.
the dark.
But you have to learn to know. This is all based on the becoming is the knowing.
Yeah.
You will know. What do you know? Evil and good. Judgment and mercy. You know it. Those are the judges that are coming back. They have to know the language of the court system to adjudicate correctly. How?
Because they've entered into 0 point.
They've adjudicated themselves through the
Right.
measure of mercy to then complete the circle of intention to become called the completed tree. You're the tree.
Right.
This goes to Winnie the Pooh, so making a point too. But interesting, this alethiometer that came from the first show, the Golden Compass, from the dark materials, the lethometer is a Greek word. What do you think the word means? This what this show has.
I don't.
It's a Greek word and it means truth disclosed.
Wow.
In its own definition, right out of the research. So she's holding something that discerns truth, and in her innocence and purity, that all the priests can't even read it. They confiscated all these amazing artifacts. There's only 6 of them, right? The number 6, that's the
Bob. Yeah.
Bob, right? So there's only 6 of those, and it means, in its own definition, it's a Greek word. It means truth disclosed. The literal meaning of the word is the state of not being hidden. That's the literal word of what it says. And it means factually and reality. So the state of not being hidden anymore through the innocence of shorthand, through the stenographer's code, because that whole thing is a code of pictures and signs that she's able to innocently connect with to find a new reality. And what is the base on? That show is based on something is hidden in the dust and there's something above, a city above, and they're crossing dimensionally into portals. Right? So she has a compass, the golden compass. The yod, which is the vision, that shows her the revelation of the mother in the earth, until she's able to see the next phase, what is hidden. What is hidden is Father. Sorry, that needs to be a...
Yeah, I was just thinking.
I'm mixing two, sorry, paleo and modern.
Paleo and modern.
So, Yod He Vav He, she has the compass to see the revelation of this compass, to see the power, means, and directions. This is the golden compass, the golden means, that shows you the golden treasure.
Oh my goodness. You just, the golden mean ratio and the Fibonacci spiral.
Purpose and means.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that is the compass that shows what creation is.
That's the tornado. You're the Vav in the tornado, and we're going to talk about that too, because this is really powerful stuff. But if I don't set it up, and I know this can be a little tangled, I apologize, but I don't. We have to at some point move beyond this to go into the next realm. We're speaking a reality that's bringing in through what? Through the revelation, my reality, because I'm a co-creator as well. I pull down, I pull in, I expand out this construct into this world. The lesser must give way to the greater. And I do not mean that in arrogance or pride. I mean that in power and control. So in the Greek, when you go into the Greek Strongs, it's 225, and it means truth. So we're still talking about the compass here, and we're still talking about shorthand. Shorthand is the code, the alphabet, 22 letters. Before they come to 44, that can become the one, right? You have to know the shorthand. So her little compass and all her pictures is pretty powerful, right? So she's learning that. She's learning how to become. She's becoming matured. So in Strong's 225, in the Greek, because I have to extract, because the word's from the Greek, this
Alethiometer. I think
the alethiometer, whatever
I think
it is.
that's what it's called.
It says, but not merely as spoken truth of idea, truth in the moral sphere, divine truth revealed to man from God. That's right out strong. So it's not just I'm speaking conjecture. This is my truth, because we're only sharing. This is what is revealed and hidden, that is to be revealed behind the veil. Because we just brought up what the veil was. This is really cool stuff. Now, Where was she go?
Can you read that one more time? That
Read-
definition.
In 225, but not merely as spoken truth of idea, truth in the moral sphere.
As given.
Divine truth revealed to man through God.
So that's da'at.
That's
That's da'at. That's the hidden knowing. Exactly, on the tree of life. It is the place of hidden knowing.
but we
Intimately, not as spoken by man,
right.
revealed by God.
Right, but God within you
Exactly.
is your expression outwardly, so within, so without. From below, I find above. You are Thoth's tablets. You are the Emerald City. This all stemmed from you asked me the question, Dad, would you watch Wizard of Oz? What is Oz? Oh, try and get it backward. Knowing the sword and the plow. And this morphs with another Zada. Knowing mother and father.
Zayin.
Zayin, sorry. Zayin in the hand. So now I'm looking at it, Zayin. This is the knowing of the tree, all knowing now. Through the plow, now this morphs from what it was. Through the plow of mother, you become the sword of father. And when they're put together, you are now both sword and plow. This is completed right there. That is the word Oz. That's the Emerald City. In definition of code, the movie was simply shorthand. The movie was something that was hidden that needed to be revealed, and so we expressed out Oz. So it's all the same because everything's the same. And this is why it gets so tangled, because everything's speaking the same thing. And they scatter their stones out to say, it's all speaking the same thing, but if we present it differently, they're never going to find it. But when you can render it all in, make it clear, like, oh, it's all speaking the same thing. So, where was, now in this show, so now we have the truth, and we're going to get to, we don't need to go into what the truth is in Hebrew, because really this is truth. It's a metz, right? It's faith, journey into truth. But yet, where was she going with her compass? Where was her next journey?
In his dark material.
In his dark material. Where is she going now?
North.
North. Perfect. She's becoming. She's going north.